What's up, everybody? Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here, and Gotham Knights. It's a video game that exists that was bought for me on a holiday sale. Look, I already know about Gotham Knights, and I know what people have said about it. I've taken the opinion of one of my friends and subscribers and Discord server allies. He explained to me everything about Gotham Knights, and if you don't know who it is, his name is Jacob Schooner. If you like AMVs, superhero-related stuff, anything of that nature, he is the man to go to. So, when it came to Gotham Knights, I have a... How do I say this? When it comes to superhero games, I'm more lenient because it's what I grew up on when I first started gaming, or at least when I first got deep into gaming, you know? I grew up playing superhero games, hell, even the superhero licensed video games based on movies. I have a soft spot for superhero games. So, I was surprised. Not in the way you think, and not in the way that a lot of people agree with. I like and dislike Gotham Knights. Why both? See, for me, that's why I said it's just a game. I can play it, I can invest just time into it, and then I put it down before it frustrates me. You know? The one thing I remember this game being, which I think is a fault on Rocksteady's part, if anyone remembers correctly, before the Suicide versus the Justice League was supposed to be the next game in the Arkham series, Gotham Knights looks like it was being fit into the Arkham universe, being able to play as Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, and Red Hood. My personal choice for going through this game, because he actually makes the campaign more bearable and better, is Red Hood. Why? I wouldn't have minded if we just got a Red Hood based video game just around him. Like, I like the idea of having the 4 members of the Bat family with a cooperative feature. Now, what people get right about these kind of games that's hit or miss in any game like this is a beat 'em up gear style game in the same frame as Warframe, no pun intended, Marvel's Avengers, what is this game, Blacklight, Warface. There's a bunch of these gear type style games, and what keeps me playing a game like this, whether it's good or bad, is I like to create a unique version of what hero I'm playing as. And I do like the different renditions and the different suits that I've been using on Red Hood. I do like the appearance, I like the visual style. I understand there's a lot of performance problems. I'm playing on PS5. I have seen performance problems when I've played online, so I've reduced it to playing with 2 people at a time. I don't have footage of that, but I'm playing with my cousin, and she plays as Nightwing. So, the co-op feels fine. They need to iron out the feature a little. They need to iron it out more, because there's a lot of connection, desync. There's a lot of those problems with this game. So, more so, you're going to be playing it by yourself. Now, it does feel like one of those early style superhero games. And what do I mean like that? Kind of like Spider-Man 2. I'm going to use Spider-Man 2 for example. Even when you beat the game, or if you're just playing the game, there'll be just random crimes and random things to do to keep you busy until you get to the next story section. But that nostalgic feeling can only go so far. The story has pretty good potential. Questionable setup, because when I first listened to my friend Jacob explain it, it's questionable setup at best. It would have worked maybe in the context of being part of the Arkham games. And this is what drives me a little crazy. Why does this game look like it fits in the Arkhamverse, but it's not an Arkhamverse game, but Suicide Squad versus the Justice League? I'm sorry, I'm talking a little quick. That doesn't look like the Arkhamverse, but it's part of the Arkhamverse. You see what I'm saying? How visual styles clash with what you assume in your head of where this game could be or where it takes place. And now, don't get me wrong, I don't think that Suicide Squad versus the Justice League is going to be a bad game at all. Quite the contrary. Just to honor Kevin Conroy, I'm gonna play that game because that is the last his last visual thing as Batman, voiceover as Batman. But Gotham Knights, with a little bit more support and ironing out, it could be what it should have been. Now, what I think it really wanted to be, is a RPG beat 'em up brawler, but in the style of a semi style to the Arkham games, because this game controls very differently than the Arkham games, and I can understand why. We're not playing just a single player game, and two, we're not playing as Batman, who can do everything. Basically, the way the Bat family characters work in this game, from Red Hood to Robin to Bart Batgirl to Nightwing, they all play like a different version of Batman, or like some of Batman's particular skill sets. You know, I do like the villains they chose for the game. I just wish they would have used them more, because these villains are not really used a lot in the common Batman media anymore. Like, I like Freeze. Freeze is actually one of the most underrated villains I enjoy. You know, Clayface, I'm 50-50. The one set of the one organization of villains, which I was surprised, but they should have done more, is the Court of Owls. Which I got the feeling that that's what they're setting up with the new Bat Reeves Batman universe, is the Court of Owls with Robert Pattinson, which would be its own good series if they did that. But for here, a lot of it, I feel a lot of this game suffer from is misidentity and what it should have been versus what we got. Don't get me wrong, the foundations are there, piled on top of industry, corporate, media, all the bullshit that comes with a game like this. There are foundations and there are building blocks to something that could be better. If you could just take the current game you have now and make it better. I don't know how they're going to be working when it comes to expansion content, like story content, update content, things like that. But at least for most Gear games that I have played, at least in the superhero genre, this game at least gives you a minimal variety on what you can and cannot do. And I mean, as you progress, yes, there's more things to do around the city. There's more reasons for you to go out there. I do like that I can do the campaign at my own leisure. That is one thing I do like. I like that I'm able to be just dumped into Gotham. I can win, and it keeps track of how many nights I've been out, how many crimes I stopped, how much I leveled up. It's very simple and an easy system to get into. It's just that it all depends. Are you a fan of the series? Are you willing to sit through it? Because the combat does leave a lot to be desired. Certain characters do play better than others, and some characters are just not as good. And it's funny how there's 4 of them. So 2 characters are really good, and 2 characters are just mid at best. Because, like I said, each character plays like a different version of Batman. Like Jason Todd, aka the Red Hood, for example, that I have gameplay of. He plays more like the behemoth brawler side of Batman with the stealth. But the thing about him, he uses guns. So if, like, the closest character that you want to have to being as Batman, you would be playing as Jason. And I understand the campaign flows a little differently, and the cutscenes are probably a little different, and character interactions depending on who you play as. So far, since I'm playing as Red Hood, he does make the game a lot better. He makes the narrative feel at least something you're like, okay, I'm going to get to point A to point B. I'm going to at least invest my time into leveling him up and doing all these different crimes throughout the city, like stopping these different crimes. I do like some of how the crimes unlock, where you go out in the street, you beat up and interrogate random thugs, which is something Batman would do, and then you collect this data, and the data unlocks more crimes that are being caused throughout the city. So it's almost like you do feel a sense of very fair progression. You don't feel underleveled, and the enemies don't feel too overpowered. It's a game that you can beat and play at your own leisure. And I'm not saying it's the best game that you should be playing right now. I mean, come on, there's Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok to be playing. But Gotham Knights, I think the purpose it serves is that you can jump in with your friends, family, whoever you play the game with online, Get in a team of four, three, two, or just by yourself. Put in some time, and then just go. I know a lot of games people just like, oh, we want to sit there and play, but then you know what that causes? Burnout. And I think I see what Gotham Knights, why I haven't seemed to stop playing it. Though I put in some time on it ever since I've got it. I put in a couple hours because I'm splitting my time between other games. But I still come back to put in some time because I can take my time with it. And I think that's something I do appreciate from Gotham Knights. I can choose how much time I want to put into a game, like with any game. But at least no matter what time I put in or how much time I put in, I have progressed in some form of fashion. I have either leveled up in some form of fashion, or I've unlocked a new section in some form of fashion, or ability, or gear that I'm looking for, just to make my character better. Now, there is a positive, another positive. There is no microtransactions in the game. From what I've played, I've seen nothing. Everything is resource based. You can easily get what you need to craft the gear, unlock gear, just make the current gear you have stronger. It's a simple system, nothing too complex, and at least they didn't have the audacity to put in a form of a microtransaction system. You got to give Gotham Knights that. And maybe with some patches and improvement, its problems can be ironed out. And I think if its problems are ironed out and people give it more of a chance again, then they'll be like, okay, it may not be the best Batman style game, but compared to a lot of other superhero games, there's only a few that we can say that are really good. I mean, come on, the bar for superhero games is not extremely high. It really is not. The only games that you could say hold the highest bar would be the Arkham series, 2018's Spider-Man, a couple of classic superhero games like Ghost Rider for PS2, things like that. There's only a few games that hold the moniker of being a really good superhero based style game. This one, it's only 60% of what it could be of its own potential. That's why I say there's building blocks. But that all depends, does Rocksteady intend to build upon those building blocks, or will it be a future dud? Because clearly there's people that enjoy the game. Every time I leave my world server open, I'll get maybe 2 or 3 players to jump in. And like I said, it needs to be ironed out with the online space, because having at least 4 people and 3 causes a lot of problems. Playing with at least 2, you don't have that kind of issue. And of course, you don't have the issues when you play by yourself. So that's really what they need to focus on. Fixing the aspects of the online connection, some of the repetitiveness, and expand it with more stuff that is worthy of the title Gotham Knights. Because don't get me wrong, the story, it's all I gotta say, it's solid. Not good, not bad. It's an average, I would just say it's an average DC story. It's not the greatest and not the worst. So that's all I gotta say about Gotham Knights. I'm gonna continue to play it so I can give more further thoughts on it. But tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. Do you agree with what I said? Do you have your own take? Let me know. This is Emperor John Kill 3D. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite, check out my Twitch, and I'll see you all next time.